Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Headlines, your weekly news session program on Radio Television of Burkina Faso. President of Faso, Rochmark Christian Kabore, is awaited in Japan, Tokyo, on November the 18th for a state visit. Before this official trip, Japanese partners are getting ready to welcome President Kabore. JICA, Japan International Cooperation Agency, and JITRO, Japan External Trade Organization managers met Alpha Bari, Burkina Faso Minister of Foreign Affairs, during his stay in Japan. Japanese and Burkinabe are seeking to strengthening their bilateral cooperation. Alpha Bari's visit in Japan is made in the framework of the yet-to-come meeting of TICAD. The Prime Minister, Paul Kabatieba, visited the hospital center of Tengango. He went to see by himself how this hospital is working and touch the different difficulties encountered by the agents. The University Hospital Center of Tengango is lacking equipment due to the lack of financial resources. For Paul Kabatieba, measures need to be taken very quickly to solve this problem. It took the promise that the government is going to react with diligence. The Prime Minister also visited the Cancer Center in construction. The rate of the works is estimated at about 60%, and the center will be finished on May 2019. The following report is an act of solidarity towards Burkina Faso Armed Forces. The Women National Coordination organized a march to support the defense and security forces. By this, they are showing their support to the armed forces in the fight against terrorism. Women coming from all over the city of Ouagadougou also called for great actions. They delivered a declaration to the Ombudsman. We know more about it with Mumuni Subega.
Those women are from several districts of the capital city. They meet at the Place de la Nation in Ouagadougou. From there, they demonstrated in downtown to say no to terrorism and to express their support to security and defense forces who are targeted in terrorist attacks. During the demonstration, women stopped first at the Army Headquarters office. At this place, they sang the national anthem before taking the road to the UN Square, symbol of nation's brotherhood, just to appeal the international community on the necessity to react promptly on the security concern of Burkina Faso. Demonstrators shout slogans against terrorism.
Au milieu des femmes,
the first lady takes the floor. Sika Kabore says all of them deplore the death of our security and defense forces in those terrorist attacks, and we also want to express our acknowledgement to them for the effort they are deploying to preserve the integrity of our country. The Burkina Faso First Lady adds that through the demonstration, they also want to express their support to authorities of the country for their effort to fight terrorism. It's enough for what is happening, enough to see citizens of our country, our children, our brothers, our sisters dying in terrorist attacks, that woman says. The demonstration ended by a statement, and a message was given for authorities of the country to take appropriate measures to tackle terrorism in the country.
The political party from the opposition, UPC, Union for Progress and Change, was faced to the journalists at Ouagadougou. The main purpose is to state clearly about the position of the party after the work session with Newton Ahmed Bari, president of the National Independent Electoral Commission. UPC does not move from its position related to the new electoral code by rejecting it. After the talks with the president of the Electoral Commission, the party leaders said they are not satisfied with his explanations. The new electoral code and the security issue were in the heart of the talks during CODEL meeting. The Civil Society Convention for Election Domestic Observations organized a press conference to share their thoughts on that important topic. The lecturers formulated a recommendation for the stability of the country. Among those recommendations, we can quote the acceleration of the national reconciliation process. At Bobo Dioulasso, the customary authorities prayed for peace in Burkina Faso. By praying, they answered to the appeal of the government that called for prayers for the country. Muslims prayed Allah and read the Holy Quran at the mosque of Bobo-Dioulasso. Traditional authorities made some sacrifices for peace and social cohesion in Burkina Faso. WEMU, the West African Economic and Monetary Union, is planning to develop e-trade among the country's members. A training was organized this week with the support of the UN Conference for Economy and Development and the EU. Get more details about this training with the Deputy Secretary General of the UN Conference.
It's absolutely necessary to have a real jump in this digitalization. It's impossible to think that Burkina or other region in Africa could stay completely behind. They have to jump in this international digitalization in order to develop new value chain, new sector, and develop also the SMEs.
The project Rain-Fed Rice is thriving in Burkina Faso. Many farmers are growing more and more this kind of speculation. More than hundreds lowland were prepared for the fluvial rice seeds. The project stakeholders were at Sagwem, Central North Region, for a monitoring and assessment visit in the farms. On a surface of 50 hectares, more than 300 tons are expected to be harvested. Let's talk about culture, now mainly about granite carving. 16 carvers from many countries met at Lango for the Granite Sculpture Symposium. By attending this event, they want to show the skill in carving the rock. The Minister of Culture, Abdul Karim Sango, paid them a visit. The purpose of this visit is to encourage the artists for their great job. Do you know Prince Lamudia Tombiano? If you don't, let me tell you that he is one of the rare novelists in Burkina Faso who have written novel in English. He is dealing with African culture and civilization in the modern time. The major thing that we can keep from his book is that Africans can use their culture to develop Africa. Our reporter, Mumuni Subega, was with him yesterday during an interview.
This book is a kind of autofiction. Okay, so it's basically to show what are the value, the traditional value of Africa all over the continent, but not only Africa. The value from the blacks, from the Caribbean to US and in other part of the world. So is to show that despite the various influence, moving from slavery period to colonization, and currently with globalization, with so many diverse intervention, including cultural domination, we remain blacks in our value. And despite that, we also have to fund our development based on this traditional value.
Okay. Do you think that Africa itself has some values that can be used for its own development?
Yeah, we have so many. In this book, you have almost 16 chapters, and it's put in a way where you have a conversation between an old man and his kids who are asking the same question. How can we develop ourselves? What is the way for Africa in the current situation? And the old man is giving experience using tale style and a kind of storytelling and showing what are our value in various components of life. For instance, in terms of environmental management, we have a number of value which shows that we don't harvest fruit when they are not ripe. So it also helps to first make sure that nature is being respected and well managed. If you take the case, for instance, of nutrition, of food, we are known to have a diversity of food, of element who are basically from farms, including also from nature. In terms of governance, we also have a number of key values who are related to leadership. So we can use all these positive value of blacks in general to really use it as a jewelry in terms of building a a new life for the continent and for the blacks as a whole.
Okay. In the book, how do you see colonization? Do you see it as a good or a bad thing for Africans?
Yeah, for instance, this book shows clearly that when colonization arrived, one of the first targets was to destroy the way the society is functioning, because that was the way to really include or embed people in a new administration. For instance, schooling was good, but it was not just for schooling, it was also for dominating culturally and economically local people. For instance, if you take the case of the administration as it is, it was a kind of conflict situation between the new administration and the traditional rulers. And you can see all across the continent, most of the kingdoms or the traditional ruling systems have been really put at a hard time because they need to destroy it to really implement the cultural domination, economical domination, and all type of influence. We are now experiencing the consequence.
Okay. That is the last question. What is the message do you want to convey through this book?
Yeah, the key message is, first, we need to know our traditions. Secondly, we need to value these traditions. And thirdly, we need to be proud of ourselves as blacks, and also of the way we see the world, the way we are functioning, the way our communities are living. And fourthly, we need to make sure that these key value, the positive value have been highlighted in this book, can serve for the new generation and to really build a better world.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching us. Headline is over, but before leaving, let me share with you this proverb. No man is an island. No man is an island, meaning that we all need each other in this world. See you and take care.